Hey everybody, this is Ori from OneScales. In today's video, I want to cover the complete guide to Shopify backups. I thought this is a very important topic to cover because over the years, we've managed tens and tens of projects, both for Shopify stores for ourselves and for our clients. And backups has never been anything that was discussed. It's very not important for most clients, and I thought it's very important to talk about it. The reasons why you should have backups for your website, for your store, and a few other things, and also show you some apps that you can use in order to do it. So a quick introduction is most stores are either selling online only, that's their full business, or they're also selling maybe offline and online. Maybe they have some retail stores, physical stores, and they're also selling online. And they're selling online a lot of money. They have a lot of products, a lot of data, a lot of customers, a lot of sales, maybe thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars worth. And backups is never really something that the teams or the owners really care about. So what I wanted to do is give the awareness of it. So first of all, I want to explain why would you need backup. So first of all, you have a store that is selling, let's say, millions of dollars online, and everything's functioning well with Shopify, but you don't have a backup that costs you, $50 or $100 a month. It doesn't really make sense because in emergency times, you will need backups. So what are the main reasons that you will need backups? So first of all is the most known one is obviously you get hacked or some kind of data loss, right? Maybe you got hacked, someone deleted all of your content. Now you don't have any backups. Most of you don't have backups in Excel or the database or stuff like that. Shopify stores everything. If there's a problem, you might have to call Shopify, and they may or may not help you. So that's really simple, maybe some hack. The more common things, hacks are less common with Shopify, but more common things are staff errors. So maybe by mistake, someone deleted some of your products, or by mistake, some of your integrations. Maybe your warehouse shipped like a bulk amount of orders incorrectly, and you want to go back. Maybe someone deleted something. Maybe you gave access to someone that shouldn't have access and they did something wrong. Maybe an intern or just someone experienced, but they made a mistake. And the last thing is, you as a store owner, you as someone running a store, you should always have your data. You shouldn't have all your data in one place. You should always have backups, just like you have paper backups, for certain businesses, for finance, things like that. You should always have your data. And if you have your data both in Shopify, all your products, customers, orders, promotions, marketing material, pages, etc. You can use those in different places. So instead of if you need like a marketing campaign that's offline, for example, you don't want to go and copy paste from Shopify. If you have it on your own Google Drive or Excel or database, you can just use it and share it. So these are kind of the important points. In the article, I'm going to share a link to the article as well. There's going to be more details here than in the video, but these are kind of the main concepts. You want to be the owner of your data because if something happens, it'll take you forever to recreate that data. You don't want to do it either via mistake or something malicious. And sometimes you can, if you own your own data, you can actually do things that Shopify doesn't allow. You don't have to build all these crazy apps with developers. You can use Excel or other things if you have the data yourself. And that's kind of the basic idea. So what options do you have for backups? You have a few different options. You have the very simple one, which is you can go to Shopify and you can use their basic backup. So Shopify has some limitations of the types of backups. You can go to each page right here. We're on the Shopify backend, and some of the pages actually have exports. So for example, you can export all of your orders right here, all of your draft orders. You can click, you can export all of your products, either some or all of your products. You can export your customers, and you can export a few your discounts as well. But there's a lot of things like content, your files that you've uploaded, all your images and banners, that you can't do that. And the actual exports, for example, the order exports, they're actually limited. They don't give you every single thing. For example, maybe you have meta fields or some customization. They don't give you every single field that you have with the default Shopify, right? You can't export your settings. You can't export certain things. You can export your theme, right? The code itself, which is good. If you click here, you can click on download theme. You cannot export your blog posts, your pages, your navigation, your preferences, your settings of all your apps. You can't do that. So the default Shopify exports, the backups, are very, very limited. And so we basically made a table right here to show you what you can do with Shopify exports. What things can you export? So V's are obviously you can export, but some of them are limited. Actually, a lot of them are limited. And the X's means you can't do it. So for example, a collection you cannot export at all. You'd have to one by one make it in an Excel sheet, etc. Now, in addition to exporting, maybe you want to make a change and you want to import. Maybe you want to re-upload something or add something new. A lot of the imports don't even exist. For example, you cannot import into Shopify new orders or new draft orders. You need either code or an API or something like that. So there's a lot of imports you cannot do, but backups you can get in partial. So all of these things for Shopify, you actually have to do it manually. For example, you'd have to have some person once a week, once a month, go here, click on orders, click on export, save it in your company drive, and then do that. So it's not so recommended. For very small businesses, it's good to do, but it's not the best way to do it, but it is something that you can keep. We strongly recommend always to have backups. Manual is also good, but there's way better ways. So that's one thing that you have. I really strongly suggest for you to back up things. This is the point of this video. Okay, the second thing is there's apps, and this is the best solution you can do. And the reason why we want to use apps is because they can back up more things. They can back up things automatically, for example, once a day or once a week or once a month, depending on your size of the store. And they can actually, some of them can restore things. So if you made a mistake, let's say I had a backup from yesterday and today I by mistake deleted like all my products, I can actually go back to the app and click on restore yesterday, wait, some time, for example, a few minutes or an hour, etc., and everything will be restored. It's a really, really good way to do it. So there's two apps that I really like that we've used over the years, and I want to share them a little bit, just the basic concepts. And as always, if you have any questions, let me know, and we'll be creating more and more content and more depth. If you have any questions, we'll answer in the comments on the website, on YouTube comments, etc. So the two apps that I really like are, number one is Rewind, right? So Rewind is an app that is very, very simple. What you do, it's a paid app based on the number of orders you have. You guys can look a little bit later. I'll link everything in the comments. But very simply, it'll automatically back up everything on your site, your products, customers, orders, themes, promotions, settings, things like shipping zones. And it'll just back it up regularly. All the time it'll back up, back up, back up. You can see when the last backup was, and you can also initiate a new backup in case you did something very big. And so what you can see is you can actually see all the things that happen. So for example, the menu updated. Maybe I updated my main menu, or maybe I updated my page. So let's look at an example for a second. So this is my About Us page right here. And this is what the current version, this is the title, and this is the body, etc. I can look at all the versions backwards that it has reviewed. And for example, if I click here, I can see that actually the page changed. So you can see this and this are a little bit different. If you notice the last sentence right here, scaling every step, scaling every day, doesn't exist here. So I can go ahead and say, you know what, I like this old version. I want to restore it because I made a mistake, or I just want to keep a track of how I changed the website over time. I can go here, click on restore, and it'll restore it. That's it. And you can have all the different dates that happened. You can also see the source code. You can see exactly highlighted what changed, the dates that it were changed, and the detail, the content itself. Okay, so it's a really nice way to do it. If you made a really big mistake, instead of just restoring one thing at a time, for example, I'm restoring this blog post or this article or this customer, I changed their information or something like that. You can also, by the way, you can also search. What you can do, you can actually do advanced restore, and you can select to actually restore based on a date, a specific thing. So I want to restore all the pages based on, for example, last week, last Thursday. And it'll go and slowly it'll restore everything back. Rewind is really, really good. It's a really good app to use, but everything is stored on their servers. So you don't have all the data on your servers. That is a downside for me, but it is a really good app to have because you have, in addition to Shopify, everything on Shopify, you have everything on Rewind. It's a pretty legit company. We've worked with them for many, many years, and they do really good. Now, you can ask for an export of data, but you really don't have all the data and you can't really import the data. So that's one downside, but it is a good app to have. The second app, which I really, really like, and in some cases I actually like it better, is an app that involves a little bit more manual work, but you can download everything to your computer and you can actually upload it to your company, Drive and secure things, and you can actually back it up on your end. So the other one is called Matrixify. Matrixify is not really just for backups. It's actually for a way for you to use Excel and Google Sheets to make edits to everything, to orders and products and customers and content and all of your site, your discounts. It's a really nice way for you to be able to import and export using Excel, and you can also customize your Excel sheet. You can, instead of just getting the format that for example, that Shopify provides, you can actually change the format. You can make it different. You can actually edit your Excel sheets in a better way, and you can actually add more fields. So it's really, really nice. I really like this one. All you have to do is click on export, and what you do is you create basically a batch, a type of export that you can recur. You can do it once a day, once a week, once a month, etc. And all you do is you click on sheets here and you can add all the sheets that you want. For example, I want to back up everything. I'm just going to checkbox everything, all the meta fields, the shop settings, the customers, the collections, everything. And then what you can do is you can decide which columns you like to export. This is the main thing. If you remember in Shopify default, some of the fields are missing. In Matrixify, you can actually export everything, all the associations of the products to the categories, to the meta fields, to the cost. So I like to actually do everything, get everything, checkbox everything, make sure it's always, X out of X. So for example, 65 out of 65, export everything. And then what I like to do is I like to schedule them. For me in particular, depending on the website size, I like to schedule it either once a day or once a week. Very small websites, maybe once a week. Very big websites that have a lot of traffic, a lot of orders, I like to do once a day. And I like to do it. So the nice thing is you can actually go and you can either schedule them and then just click download and download yourself manually, or you can actually allow them to upload to your own servers, maybe an FTP server or stuff like that, which is really, really nice. And then the nice thing about Matrixify is you can actually import. Here's where you import. Once you get the files, for example, we export once a week all of our customers' pages, blog posts, redirects, files, all these things that are here. For example, our pages and our redirects, for example, our URL redirects, all the different settings. We have backups. We own it in case we ever need to do something either on Shopify or off Shopify. For example, maybe we want to transfer to another platform in future or do something else. We actually have the full capability that we own our data. This is our business. We should be the owners of all of our data in case there's a problem or in case we need to use it in any other way. So that's basically the main concept of it. Very simply, I'll link to Matrixify and Rewind. You can see their pricing. It's based on the usage, based on the number of orders, things like that. Even though a lot of businesses we know don't want to spend $30, $40, $50, $100 a month for one or two apps, it doesn't make sense for me for you to have a full business, a business that sells tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars or more, and you don't even spend $50 or $100 a month to make sure that you own your data and then you can restore your data if there's a problem. Because if you deleted something, the cost of you restoring that and losing business is so much more than just a subscription. You should really consider it. Having a backup, owning your own data. Large websites also, for example, we actually have both. So for example, we both have both Rewind and we have our own Matrixify. It really depends on the size of the project. In this case, we have both. We made this for the video for you guys. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll link the article right here. You can see everything. And I hope you guys make backups. You always are safe. You have a backup plan. If something happens, how do you deal with it? How do you respond quickly? Maybe you have some alerting system in case something changes. There's a lot of different things you can do. But make sure you're safe. Make sure that even though everything is smooth, make sure you always have a backup plan. It doesn't cost a lot, and it'll save you a big headache, especially on Saturday in 2 a.m. If you realize something happened, you're going to start scrambling. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please like, please share, please subscribe. Tell us what kind of videos you want. Tell us what kind of backups apps you use, and anything related to Shopify web, analytics, technology, anything cool that you're interested in. Share with us, say hello, comment, and we would love to talk to you guys and create a community. Much, much appreciated. Thank you.